St. Mort Show.
Never saw it.
Never watched an episode of SpongeBob.
Wait, you're being serious?
I'm being dead serious. I think the only episode I ever saw was over there.
Victory.
Yeah, Sweet Victory over Christmas when
Goes a sweet
Victory. Yeah.
That's a good show. That was a good show.
Yeah. Patrick.
The writers were hilarious.
How do you not like it?
I don't know. I just never watched it.
It was the closest thing to like 90s that wasn't in the 90s. Like 90s Nickelodeon. It was
I don't know, because I remember there was a
the
couple.
last of the greats.
Well, let's think about it,
was,
though.
yes.
Do you forget that there was a couple, they weren't as popular as SpongeBob?
Okay.
And I'll admit that. But on Nickelodeon, I actually was a fan of, like...
Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents, Rocket Power.
Rocket Power
as
pre-SpongeBob.
as told by Ginger.
Pre-SpongeBob.
No, it was not. SpongeBob, I will...
Well, SpongeBob ran longer. I'm talking after that. After that's been canceled. After Ginger got taken off the air.
Ginger.
Yeah.
As Told by Ginger was a surprisingly good show.
It was.
It was kind of like
she was, in fact, a ginger.
A ginger. Well, that was... You know that the best block of cartoons was that when ABC hit that stride when they had, like, Recess and Pepper Ann... And like,
Pepper Ann is a solid.
She's way too cool for 7th grade.
Yeah, she's like 1 in a million.
Pepper Ann, that wasn't like Madeline. Was it?
No,
why would we hype up Madeline?
Yes, dude, Madeline, man, that's where it was at.
The little British girl, never getting adopted.
It's a great show, man.
She is never getting adopted, that girl, but we love it.
Yeah,
and I hate to see the day that she's adopted.
What was Peppermint?
Pepper Ann? Pepper Ann was like just a chick.
She was a lesbian.
Yeah, she was clearly a lesbian.
She had a raspy voice. She had like a, not even a Tara Reid voice, like a Tara Reid voice.
She wore like baggy sweatshirts and baggy pants. Skateboarded, I believe. Had 2 dude friends. All I remember is the one episode where she bought the keyboard that had the song Green Sleeves automatically programmed into it, and everyone thought she was this amazing piano player, but really all she knew how to play was the song Green Sleeves because of the keyboard. Recess was and the Recess movie was really good. I have that over there.
Here's the thing that I think I'm racking my brain is Pepper Ann. She had freckles, right?
I think so. She was also a ginger, which is what made me think of it.
And she was in 7th grade. And Peppermint Patty
was a redhead
with freckles,
who was a lesbian,
and she was in like 1st grade.
So are you trying to hint that Pepper Ann?
That's Patty Mayonnaise.
You're thinking of Patty Mayonnaise.
I'm thinking of the Peanuts.
Who, if you've watched Orange Is the New Black, Patty Mayonnaise is in it. Yeah, and it's really weird to see.
Yeah, she's very
old and ugly and crusty.
I thought it was David Bowie.
She is like a skinny, short, blonde-haired chick that sounds like Patty Mayonnaise.
Yeah,
like
I watched season 2 of that. I wanted, for some reason, the girl that's a lesbian that has sex with the girl from American Pie.
Oh, the chick
like driver. Yeah. I want to have sex with her.
Oh, the British one, or the one with this deep Brooklyn accent.
Yeah,
she's super obnoxious when she talks, but she looks great naked.
Yeah. She does look very good naked.
There's a pretty hot Asian girl in the 2nd season that also gets naked for the same lesbian.
She's a slut.
There's literally a plot line in the 2nd season. No spoilers because this isn't a major storyline. But her, and do you remember Big Boo? Like the big fat bull dyke lesbian in there? The 2 of them have a contest to see how many straight girls they can bang while in jail.
I'm sorry, what show are we talking about?
Orange is the New Black on Netflix.
Solid
It's an
show.
Awesome show. Really funny, and then just randomly will just clothesline you with drama that just takes you out.
How am I going to be able to watch this while I'm home? Because I don't own Netflix. I leave tomorrow.
Do you have a laptop, or can you borrow Julie's? Because Julie has access to my Netflix on her laptop, but she won't watch it because she doesn't like watching things on her laptop.
Stupid bitch.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. I don't know. Let's get this podcast.
It's already recording. This is all going on the air.
All of it?
I'm going to put all of this. I think that this is interesting conversation.
Okay.
So people know that you haven't seen SpongeBob.
They know. Yes, it's now been. I am now publicly announcing it.
I'm just saying.
Despite having one of the writers, well, he never wrote SpongeBob. He wrote Rocko's Modern Life, and he's friends with the guys who wrote SpongeBob. But he was on the show a couple weeks ago. All right, so for those of you who haven't figured it out in that rambly part, my brother is home yet again.
I am.
And the two-parter with him was quite popular, so we brought him and we brought Biggest back.
Who was a part of the two-parter.
Who was a part of the two-parter.
And you know what? I never realized. I wish I would have brought this up the first parter, but I didn't realize when we were driving here. I said, Eric, we're doing the St. Mort show again. And he was like, did you know...
the show's called?
Yeah, St. Mort. And he was like, yeah, he's the guy who used to write like the song Spanish Girl and things like that. I never put two and two together, so that's pretty cool. I'm talking to a legend right now.
So we'll get I can't say that this is the first thing that we're going to get out of the way because we did just talk for 5 minutes about Pepper Ann.
Pepper Ann, she's the lesbian. That's how the song went.
But I'm sure people have asked me how you're doing throughout the last couple months. It's been about a year, right?
Yeah, I think I was when I was on the show I had 90 days and now I'm at 15 months, so
yeah, high five on that.
Boom, high five.
Yeah, because I think if I recall correctly you were home for 4th of July, right?
Yes.
So that's when we would have recorded it. So yeah, almost about in a week from now it'll be a year since your last appearance on the St. Mort show.
Amazing.
And we tried. Well, we didn't try. We said that we were going to have you on in little segments, and then we just never did.
Yeah.
But you work crazy hours because your shifts, your work shifts, just bounced all over the place. So that didn't make it easy in the least.
It's very, very shitty work shifts.
So since you haven't had any relapses, that typically means that you have no interesting stories.
That's not very true.
All right, let's hear them.
Just the other day.
The other day.
What are some goods? Okay, I can tell the story about the first time my girlfriend let me come inside of her. That's kind of a funny story.
Okay, you do know that most of our family is going to probably listen to this episode,
and most of our family enjoys good comedy.
Because that was a joke.
No.
Wait, is this the story that you told Julie? Because
Yes.
Julie may have told me the story. Was it this girlfriend that you're currently dating, or a different girl?
It was my current girlfriend.
Okay.
This was pre-hating her, but it was when we first started dating. We had to use condoms because she's worried about diseases, and I said, I'm a gambling man, so let me get up in there. And I wasn't thinking, and she was like, hey, if I let you come inside me, it is going to, you have to get me the next day pill. I said, absolutely, because I'm thinking the next day pill is like $5-10 tops. So I do it, and it turns out it's like $60. And I didn't realize that. Now, that's not that funny. It's just the guy. That story's not funny. It's a guy who came and his girlfriend had to pay $60. But when I went...
It's funny, you're more pissed about how much you had to pay for it.
Yeah. First is the fact that like a box of condoms that'll last you like half a year. It's like $15 for that economy size.
When you use a condom, it's almost like showering with your socks on. It's just... It's not.
I am terrified to have sex without a condom on.
Yes.
I've got too much fear of babies. Ugh, no to babies.
Never give your real last name. It's more the disease I'm afraid of, because it doesn't matter if they know me as Brian Phillips. Brian Phillips, Brian Kelly, I still have that HIV, so there's no way around that.
Well, that's like, what's the Kid Chris thing? The STDs are just trophies to prove that you had sex.
Yeah. Hey, there's gonorrhea Sally. So this is why it's funny. It's just because little shit happens in my life where I'm like, holy shit, like my life is a movie. It's like a random Saturday morning at like 10 in the morning, so I'm in CVS. I'm like, okay, I need the next day pill. So the guy's like, okay. He turns around, he gets in. I don't realize that someone's standing behind me in line. And he brings it up. He's like, all right, that's going to be $59.99. I said, $59.99? He's like, hey, man, it's expensive. I was like, I see. Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? So I pay him, and I just said, I can't believe I just paid $60 to nut inside of a girl. And when I turned around, the priest at a Catholic church that I used to go to was behind me.
Did he even acknowledge your existence?
Father? I just walked right out, and I was like, oh shit. That story was a lot funnier in my head. It's all I got. What do you want from me?
I haven't been doing dope, so I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get high by the next one. I'll have some good stories for you.
Please don't. You're a terror.
I am a terror. That was a good story.
I don't know. Did we talk about? I wish I probably should have re-listened to all 2 hours of the previous conversation.
I did
Okay,
last week.
Because I'm trying to remember some of the stuff that we talked about, because there's a lot of Brian Kelly stories, and I feel like we focus mostly on just the drugs.
As opposed to shitting.
Just shitting and having to crush it up with your hand.
Yeah. That happened once.
Was that pre or post drugs?
Pre.
So it could have been the start.
It probably had something to do. Well, it was just, I just liked attention, whether it was breaking up poop.
With your bare hand.
I didn't know the difference between people laughing at me and people laughing with me. So as long as I got laughter, that's all I really cared about. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I could just,
Well, what have you been up to?
Kuwait.
What have you been up to from a year ago? Like, I know what you've been up to, but the people who've been listening have no clue what you've been up to.
Okay, so let's see. I got back down there. When I got down there, I think I just moved out of the place. When I moved back down there, it turns out me and my roommate we were both up here visiting at the same time while I was recording the podcast. Mm-hmm. Trying to share the message. He was actually getting high. So he came back down to Florida. We were staying at our place, and then just one day I came home and he was really fucked up, and he was like, hey man, I need you to I need to get help. So I work at a rehab, so I got him a scholarship into a detox. We sold his car, so I knew that I had his money for rent. Mm-hmm. And took his debit card and his license, and somehow he managed to get money out of the account without a debit card or a driver's license. And we got about $6,000 for the car, and a week and a half later I checked the account and it was at $175.
All right.
So he was doing a lot of crack and a lot of heroin, and
just pre-gaming before he went into rehab.
Yeah. Well, this was after rehab. So I moved out. I couch surfed for a little bit. Stayed sober the whole time, but
I feel like that's the hard part about two former addicts living together. Yeah. So I feel like there's probably a lot of moving.
There is. There's a lot. I don't suggest, and this is weird because I might move up soon, and I'm staying with two people that are potential roommates, but don't ever live with anyone that's an alcoholic, like whether they're sober or not, because they're a fucking headache, and we're all nut jobs and weirdos. So like when I moved out, I ended up moving in with one of my coworkers, and it was he has like two poodles that he takes care of all the time, and just his girlfriend is always fighting, and like I put up with that shit, and it's kind of funny, like the straw that broke the camel's back was I was there for like 3 months, and then one day he kept me up till 3 a.m, him and his girlfriend just laughing so loud. So we're driving to work the next day, and I was like, Clint, what the fuck were you laughing at that hard last night? And he's like, oh Tyler Perry's Medea Goes to Prison was on the TV. I'm out. I left. I can't live with that. It's Tyler Perry.
We gotta talk.
And that's a true story. I left because of that. So it wasn't a joke. I actually left.
Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, this is a really bad joke.
No.
And then so you confirm that it was true, and then I'm like...
If he listens to this podcast, he can confirm it. Like, 3 days later, I told him, I'm leaving. Like, that was it. I was just like, oh, my God.
I like that for 3 days that just sat in your head. You're just sitting in bed like, fucking Tyler Perry.
Well, it's just like,
Tyler fucking Perry.
Oh, my God.
Like, would you have stayed if he was like, oh, man, we were watching Hot Rod, and he fell down a mountain, and you're like, totally get it.
Yeah, it's like you're a dick. Like, that's what you are. You're a dickhead. It's like the same thing. Like, I don't mean it in like a bad way, but like if I move in with someone, and I go in their closet and they have like a bunch of like tap out shirts, like I'm not.
You already have you have like a predetermined assumption.
You're a douche. Like, no, I don't want to.
I feel like this basement alone is just filled with artifacts that are like, and this is why I'll never live with Schropp and Matt.
Is that a tree with butterflies on it?
Well, that's from my aunt.
Yeah, so you better.
That's probably gonna get taken down soon, actually. But
no, like I mean,
I mean, there's action figures. There's a Lego Ecto-1 over there. There's a bunch of things that I've painted.
Like I could live here as long as I just accept the fact that I will never be in this in this basement alone. If I don't mind not watching TV, I could definitely be here. But like, no, this isn't bad. Like, there's just like little things. Like, you gotta understand, like
little knickknacks.
Like to find Tyler Perry hilarious, like, it says a lot about character. It's not a matter of like, oh, I chuckle, like it was like grab it, and then like he tried to defend it. Like he was like, well, you gotta understand, like. There was a little fat kid that was talking back to her and she smacked him. See that? Nobody laughed.
No,
nobody.
You see, like, she added a at the end of things.
Hello. Oh man, but I do commend Tyler Perry because he's a very creative guy to think like, oh man, a black man dressed as an angry old black woman. That's just breaking ground. That's pushing the envelope.
Yeah, sadly, Tyler Perry never got his copy of Nutty Professor for the rest of the world.
Or any other Eddie Murphy movie. Eddie Murphy could be in a drama about his daughter with ass cancer. He's like, okay, but here's the deal. I'll play the wife, too.
It saves money.
Okay.
I'll do it.
So we got some actors for our new movie report now. Who's in it? Eddie Murphy. Who else? No, he's playing everyone.
He's playing everybody in the movie.
He said he'd do it.
It's like Michael Myers as like the Austin Powers movies kept getting more and more popular. It's like, why are they casting other people?
Yeah. And like he's playing 4 roles, so like they could have did better than the kid from the Wonder Years. Like I feel like the amount of money. Austin Powers 1 and 2 made a lot of money. And they're like, oh, let's just put it all towards Beyonce. And Michael Caine's probably looking for a job. He didn't make a movie for a couple of years. And
Fred Savage. Yeah, like why Fred Savage? Did Fred Savage have that box office cameo draw? Like people who were on the fence about seeing Austin Powers 2 were like, "Holy shit! Is that Fred Savage playing the mole?"
I love the Wiz.
It's the Wizard. The Wiz is the black.
Well, they love that too. I'm sure. Who doesn't love that? Michael Jackson.
He's on down the road.
I gotta say, for Austin Powers 2, when Elizabeth Hurley changed into a robot, that was like heartbreaking for me.
It was. You never trust women.
Well, and that's like one of those movies that you forget that like I was listening to a radio show and they were reading off the list of sequels that made more money than the original film. Mm-hmm. And they were shocked that Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, made more money than International Man of Mystery. Mm-hmm. But like International Man of Mystery didn't do that well. Like it wasn't until it was on VHS that people started renting it and telling their friends, like, yo, this movie's fucking hilarious. Yeah. It's the same thing with Anchorman 2 made more money in the box office than Anchorman, but Anchorman was another one that didn't do well in the theaters.
But like Anchorman 2 was awful. It was like a terrible
I'm of the opinion that Anchorman 1 isn't really anything to write home about either.
Anchorman 1 is hilarious.
I think that it gets funnier each time you watch it, but it's still like far from Will Ferrell's greatest achievement.
Yeah, I mean,
like I remember that came out and
film.
Well, that and Dodgeball came out at the exact same time, and I had to choose which one to see in the theaters, and I picked Dodgeball, and I think I made the right choice.
Well, yeah, Dodgeball is just like that's a great movie. I mean,
but I know a lot of people who would disagree with that statement.
I mean, in my personal opinion, I would just in general like. I pick Ben Stiller over Will Ferrell any day of the week.
And I think that has a lot to do with Ben Stiller usually works with a script.
Yeah. Well, I like the whole...
And Will Ferrell improvs. And Will Ferrell is very good at improv in small doses.
Yeah.
Like when he has a cameo in an improvised show, like a Eastbound and Down, he's amazing. But when you have him for like 2.5 hours improvising... like it's really a 50-50 on some of that stuff because sometimes it turns it like even like Talladega Nights and Step Brothers, which I love. There are jokes in that movie that fall into like that Family Guy trap of just like, well, if we just keep repeating it over and over again.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the whole, I mean that's how Hollywood is. That's how you quote something.
Yeah,
like I love Kevin Hart. He's one of my favorite comedians. But what you quote on Kevin Hart is probably his least funniest thing he says. But he says it like 30 times in his stand-up. So, I mean, yeah, I think Will Ferrell is very forced on people. But, oh, man, that intro to Anchorman just gets me every time.
Wait.
Ribs. I had ribs for lunch today. That's why I'm doing this. Don't act like you're not impressed. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow?
See, I think my biggest issue is that before I saw Anchorman, I had like 5 or 6 people that would quote it nonstop, and when they would quote it, I'd be like, "Man, that's fucking hilarious." And I guess they were saying it funnier than it said in the movie, because when I finally watched, I'm like, "What's this shit?" Same thing happened with Zoolander.
Zoolander is a...
Before I watched Zoolander, I had a group of girls that literally quoted the entire movie to me, start to finish. And the movie that they quoted to me was so much funnier than the movie I watched.
You just need to release that.
Like, I should have just recorded their version of Zoolander.
It's like that episode of Parks and Rec where it's like where the cable goes down, so Andy's just telling everyone about the other movies.
The scary movies are like that. The scary movie series.
And that's Movie Babe.
They're just like that. They're terrible.
They're really bad. I own 1 through 3 over there, and I only enjoy watching 3.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh no, part 3 is funny no matter what. Well, we all in my opinion.
We all know what my personal favorite Will Ferrell cameo is in any movie, and that's Wedding Crashers.
Okay, yeah.
Amazing.
I'm like, I don't even know why I had to pause and think about that, because you quote that all the time.
Right.
I got one. Live Hard, Sell Hard.
I still haven't seen The Goods. I still haven't seen The Goods.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
But his cameo is incredible.
Yeah.
The movies.
I didn't think the movie was that bad. I mean,
you should see his cameo. You remember, right?
Yeah.
I just like the fact that his character in Eastbound and Down is him just playing Ric Flair.
Yeah. Woo.
like he's been very open that that's all he did was just watch Ric Flair videos and was like, I just did my best Ric Flair for every scene.
Shit.
All right, so you moved at, so after some couch surfing, you lived at your boss's, and then he enjoyed Tyler Perry, so you bounced out of there.
Well, it was amongst other things, but that was just it. Where it's just like, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you want to.
Who is this person that I'm living with?
Like if you were gonna move in with someone and like you saw their collection of movies and it was just like Wayne's Brothers. That's all they own was Wayne's Brother films. You'd be like, I don't really want to live with.
I would just be like, hey, can we just watch "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker" over and over and over again?
But I have white chicks.
Hey, you know what? As bad as white chicks are, I could probably get by just on the scenes involving
whatever his name is.
Oh shit,
Muscles.
That dude is, what the fuck is his name?
I don't remember.
Oh my, Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
Anything that Terry Crews does. Him singing Vanessa Carlton in White Chicks is the only redeeming moment in that movie.
It's great.
Making my way downtown. And he's doing the piano. His head. And I miss you. And I need you. He's the best part in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The only reason I watched that whole series was
really. I think every character on that show was perfect.
But he was the character from the first episode that was funny. I think everyone else, it took them a couple episodes to find like their footing on what made that character awesome. But Terry Crews from like the first scene was great. I mean, I remember calling you and telling you to watch it though, because that one episode where he's on a diet.
Yeah, and
is
that fart.
well, not just that fart scene, but just like
what was the other part that I loved on that?
When he's upset that she's not there for Cantaloupe.
Oh yeah,
he's like, she's not here for our Cantaloupe song.
I can't sing both parts.
Oh yeah, Cantaloupe. Cantaloupe. Oh, it sounds ridiculous without her singing the high parts. He's like, I can sing both by myself. Cantaloupe. Oh yeah, Cantaloupe.
It's fucking great.
That's like, that's the best part. Is I would just,
I love Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah,
that's.
I'll have to. I've never watched
Crews
it.
is the dad.
Well, then now I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch every. It's just like Tracy Morgan. Like it's not like he's like.
Well, it's like that clip from the Wayans brothers where Terry Crews is, or what's the show with Damon Wayans? My Wife, My Kids, or something like that, or whatever it is. It's some just random Damon Wayans show, but Terry Crews plays the guy who like works at the gym and is training him on how to work out, and it's awesome. Like, I saw it on Reddit, and I'm like, this is so fucking good.
Yeah, he should be glad to get typecasted. He's very lucky
because he's phenomenal in his typecasting.
Yeah.
Well, and then was it like you and I would basically I would just call you when you were working night shifts.
Yeah.
Because you had nothing to do.
Nothing.
And I would just tell you what show to watch on Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah, they came and they put the kibosh on that. They took the TV out.
Oof.
Yeah.
Because you were rocking through like Deadbeat, I told you to watch.
I watched Orange is the New Black. I watched that season in 2 days of work.
Yeah.
and the season's 12 episodes long. It's about 16 hours. 12 of those watching Orange is the New Black. That show.
Well, I'm pretty sure you did Deadbeat in a day because it was only 10, 30-minute episodes.
In a day, I did Brooklyn Nine-Nine in 2, but that doesn't count technically because I did Deadbeat and half of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Dude, Deadbeat's another masterpiece that no one is watching. It's so upsetting.
Oh shit, that was a good show. I can't wait for season 2 if they even have one.
The best episode is the one with Jason Biggs.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I can hear the fat in your voice.
His little costume to sneak into the meeting is so amazing in that scene.
Oh god. Yeah, with the two bodyguards, puppets. Holy shit!
I forget what he says to the secretary. Where he's just like, "Do you not realize that I am a very famous man?" She's like, "Do you not realize that you're one fat man wearing two body doubles on you to make it look like three skinny men?"
Oh, classic. So let's try to recap last time, because like this was, I mean, I could tell you my whole life story the past year, but it's not really like that exciting.
TV.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, we're just
shooting the shit. That's all the show's about.
Life's good. You're just like going
whatever.
Yeah, man. Like just living the dream.
I'm just trying to, like I said, people enjoyed the last 2 times that you were on here, and they want to know what you're up to. You're the most. I shit you not. One of your episodes is like one of the 3 most popular episodes on iTunes for our show.
Really?
Yeah, like massively popular on iTunes.
I can say I heard he went to the Flaming Lips concert recently.
Yeah, let's talk about how amazing, how angry I am that you saw the Abbott Brothers live before me.
Fest is actually that's a really cool time, man. Concerts in sobriety are fucking incredible, man.
I was gonna say that seems like you're really just throwing yourself in the lion's den on that, or in the lion's pit on that one.
What?
Go into a concert like Hangout Fest.
No, it's awesome, and especially like it's not even like, oh man, like a bunch, like there no one else there was sober, but like God bless Molly, and I'll say it, I don't care, I'm sober, but like that makes everyone at a concert nice. Like maybe it's just because I used to go to local shows where it's like, yo, bro, why are you looking at my fucking girl? But like I bumped into someone trying to see someone and like spilled water on them, and then like turned up like, sorry, man. I was like, no, man, I'm sorry. It was like awesome, yeah. But yeah, dude, Hangout Fest was fucking awesome.
Now, was that a free concert or
no,
was that?
No, it was $550 for the tickets, the condo, the rental, and gas to get there. For the 3-day weekend. So it was pretty cheap. I mean, I was supposed to go to Bonnaroo. That would have cost me $1,500, but you know, our cousin's selfish.
Yeah.
Decides to get married the same weekend as Bonnaroo.
Doesn't he get it?
She. So clearly she doesn't.
Whoever.
Because she's a woman.
They should understand.
They don't care.
It was a pretty fun wedding, though.
Oh, it was a great wedding. It was a great wedding. I got drunk.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's a
no.
It's a wedding.
I was a little disappointed in you, though, bro.
Why?
Because I did not expect me to be the one that was on the dance floor the whole time.
I was on the dance floor. I was cutting rug.
I didn't see
dabbled.
it. It must have been right after I left.
No, I dabbled a little bit. I just would go out to smoke a cigarette, and you guys would be so far in the center, and like, it's like hard just to walk in. You know?
It wasn't that hard. The DJ every like 5 songs decided to play something to clear out the dance floor.
Well, I actually told him to put on Elvis for Grandma.
No, I'm fine with the Elvis. I was talking more about like, don't get me wrong, I love me some Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, but it's not exactly one that you cut a rug to when it comes on.
You're at your prom.
So it was like, he had a packed dance floor, like he was playing like B-52s and stuff, and then it was just like,
it's going down. I'm yelling timber.
And then all of a sudden, beyond the fact that like you can't really dance to Living on a Prayer, it also has like a minute of just silence and weird noises that he chose not to like cut out. Like you could have like trimmed a little bit of that.
It was kind of cool to just see everyone like standing there waiting, like with their
like something's supposed to come on.
What's going on?
There was a couple of seconds where I'm like, is there even a song playing right now? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
The throw up guitar that they have in that fucking song.
Yeah. Good.
Once upon a time, not so long ago. Everyone loves that song, but it's like,
what
are you doing?
International white people anthem is what it is.
Yeah.
White people love Bon Jovi.
I do.
They fucking do.
The best song by him is "Raise Your Hands," though.
Yeah, I don't know what's with Jersey, but they got some great musicians.
They do have some great
They have
musicians.
some really good musicians.
So talk about Hangout Fest. So
Okay,
who'd you
that
see at
guy-
Hangout Fest?
Got there, I saw Alan Stone, who
No clue who that is.
Lost him on him.
Keep
If you
going.
get a chance to listen to him, he's very, very good. He's a very chill person. Really peace, love, and unity type guy. He was really cool. And then we saw the Black Lips. They were okay. Then I saw Childish Gambino.
All right.
Childish Gambino was like the best show ever. And fucking, it was awesome because in the middle of a song, the cops just walk up on stage.
Mhm.
Like, 2 cops just walk up on stage and, like, whisper in his ear. And he's just like, cut the music off. And the music's happening. He's like, yo, there's a 7-year-old girl missing here. Like, this is no bullshit. Like, if anyone sees her, like, pick her up. And I guess there's someone behind me, and he's just, like, looking, and he's like, oh, there she is. Boom! And, like, the music, and, like, the cops went and got the girl and just dove right back into the song. It was fucking awesome.
Everything's cool, man.
Yeah, it was, dude. He puts on the like the greatest show.
She's safely with the parents.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. I actually had a sign up from his movie Mystery Team that said it was just a poster. I was the only person in the concert that brought a poster, and it said "Paper plates. Are you expecting the Pope?" And at the very end, she like looked at it and smiled, and just like I was like, I can get hit by a bus today. I don't even give a shit because I'm a huge Donald Glover fan. Huge.
In that movie, not enough people have seen Mystery
No.
Team because that movie's awesome.
Did you see the shirt? That's actually my shirt, and I bought it because of that movie. Poker in the eye. It's not what I meant.
It's not what I meant at all. I see. Well, you know my favorite line in the whole movie is near the end. He's,
Fuck!
that's right. I've been saying fuck. I've been going out and trying it out. Feels pretty good.
Pretty good. But like Hangout, like that's not even like a cool like.
And then when
I
he-
want to hear that shit about me going to Hangout Fest, like it's cool. Like Flaming Lips is like a cool concert, but like I don't even know what I want to talk about, to be
That's
honest.
Talk
fine.
about other people.
I'm still mad. The worst part is that you saw probably one of my
Abbott
top 3
Brothers.
favorite bands, and you knew 2 of the songs that they
Yeah,
played.
and I wished I knew more because that was an amazing.
That's right. I
fucking
still have
show.
to burn you a data
Like
disc
they
of
were
everything.
running around, like switching up to
Yeah, because
instruments,
that's
like,
what they do. Yeah,
It was
for
fucking
Perfect
amazing.
Space they do that, right?
They
'Cause
didn't
the-
play Perfect Space.
What?
Very let down that they didn't.
Oh,
play.
man, I've
The
seen
2
some-
songs that I knew was "Head Full of Doubt"
Okay.
and then "I in Love and You."
Okay, I'm sure they played a bunch of the old stuff that would have driven me insane to hear live.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Flaming Lips, I literally thought someone put acid in my water. Like, you're just watching that show. It was fucking incredible.
See, I feel like as much as I really don't enjoy the Flaming Lips that much. Like, I like the Flaming Lips, but I feel like if I saw them live, I would basically just want them to play Yoshima, like the entire Yoshima album, and like the She Don't Use Jelly, and then I'd be pretty
they came
happy.
out to She Don't Use Jelly.
Ooh, that's a ballsy move.
Yeah, they came out and, like, they just played the intro for, like, a good 3 minutes without even singing. He's like, let me get the fucking ducks. They brought out, like, 12 giant inflatable ducks.
Yeah.
And, like, got the crowd going. Got, like, a dude coming out.
Oh,
as
wait,
the
there is
son,
another song
and
that I really like by them.
Then they played that. They went into
Did they
went
do
into that.
Waiting for Superman's a really good one? That's
they
my
ended
jam.
it. They just put out with the Sgt. Pepper's cover album.
They
and
covered
they-
the whole album.
Yeah, well, they did it with Dark Side of the Moon
Oh,
too,
did
and
they
they played
really?
it at Bonnaroo.
They
one
just
year.
put it out?
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out because I think that would actually be
Sgt.
pretty
Pepper's,
good.
and they end it
Side
with
was
Lucy in the
alright.
Sky of Diamonds, and it was
Okay.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's like actually that's one of the episodes I discussed because we were talking about how it would be way more interesting. I was interviewing the guitarist from May.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how like he hates how music publications always ask artists like, oh, who's your favorite artist? What's your favorite song from 2014? He's like, and like that's whatever. He's like, I'm way more interested in like who do they hate? Like
Yeah.
what is the song that John Mayer just can't fucking stand from 2014? I'm like, well, what's a band that you don't get? And he's like, oh shit, I'm on the spot now. And he was like, Flaming Lips. He's like, I understand that they're like super important and super popular,
They
he goes,
paved
but
the
every
way.
time I try to listen to them, I'm like, it's not for me. And
But
mine was
even like them-
mine's Bruce Springsteen. Like I just
They
can't.
went from-
I know I'm supposed to love Bruce Springsteen as a music fan, but it just doesn't do it for me.
They're kind of goofy, but a lot of their albums are
Yeah,
really like dark too.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, but I remember I heard Yoshime, and I was like, this is amazing. Like that whole
Yes,
record's
is like such a
Yeah.
deep song.
that whole record's great.
Yeah.
And then like when I would try to experiment with a lot of their other stuff, I would just kind of be like, I would find one or two songs that I loved, like Spider Bite Song and Waiting for Superman are great songs, and She Don't Use Jelly is great songs. It's like the same thing with Butthole Surfers. I think Butthole Surfers has so many great songs, but so much filler as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure seeing them live where they're just playing the hits and you don't have any of that filler is great.
It's a festival line.
Yeah.
So, like, they're literally only playing the hits.
Yeah, they only have enough time for the hits.
Yeah.
That's see my like how much money did you spend?
200.
See, and that kind of
Each band played an hour, though.
okay, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
Like Warped Tour and stuff bothers me after a while because it's like I'm spending $200 to see a bunch of bands when I only really want to see 6 of them. And of those 6 bands, at least 2 of them are going to be playing at the exact same time.
They were really good with that. Like,
Yeah.
they kept all the
What's your
genres
favorites?
apart.
Yeah.
The only
And then
thing
it's
that
like,
was really shitty.
and then you see them play for 15 minutes, and it's like, man, for $200, I could have just saw all 6 of those bands on their individual tours and gotten a full hour set.
Like, you gotta skip a couple shows if you want to get close. Like, we wanted to get close for Flaming Lips, so we saw the first half of Modest Mouse. And got
Which
it front. And we
you
stayed
made
the
it.
entire-
You fucked up there. You
No.
should see the whole thing of Modest Mouse.
No.
Somebody.
No, what I'm trying to explain is, like, no one puts on a better show than the Flaming Lips. Like, and you may not like their music,
Have
but
you
can put up
seen
with them.
Weird Al Yankovic live?
I have not. But, like,
Weird Al, no one puts on a show
okay,
like
so
Weird Al
he's
Yankovic.
probably amazing, but like Guar. You don't like Guar music at all. But
Oh,
like,
I
you
would
go-
see Guar live.
Yeah, because they put on a great show.
And
So,
you
like,
don't know
take
me. I
Flaming Lips.
do enjoy some Guar.
I don't, and I went to their concert. and It was incredible. So, like, Flaming Lips, like, even people don't like them. If you can tolerate the music and just see that show, like, it's life changing. It's absolutely life changing. The shit they put on.
Scott was telling me to listen to "Parting of the Century" by Modest Mouse.
I'll give you the whole album.
But Kowalski lives. We've got everything.
Bukowski,
Florida. He told me to check out those.
Bukowski.
ones. Yeah.
Parting of the Sensory, this is weird. The first time I ever heard that song was in college during a biology class when our teacher played us the song to help us understand how carbon works.
Oh wow.
Because the ending lyric, they just keep chanting, "Someday you will die and somehow something's going to steal your carbon." It was like, she's like trying to explain how, like, when they bury you in the ground, like, your body breaks up and then, like, that becomes a tree and then that tree puts off carbon. So, like, you kind of, like, it's like this weird
I
cycle.
never did that shit.
That sounds way better than just.
I got suspended the first day in biology.
Ooh, I have a story we can tell.
About when I got suspended the first day in biology.
No, I mean, we can tell that too. But I just remembered that it was something you told on one of the old podcasts. The substitute story.
Oh, dude, what was her name? What was her name? I don't even know if I can remember the story. The little Chinese substitute. Do you know who we're talking about? It was such a stereotype name, like Miss Wang.
I would never.
Like
that
Miss
was
Lee.
it.
Was it Miss Wang?
It was, 'cause it was crazy funny to us as being kids.
Dude, she was the fucking shit. No, I don't. It's been
We were
so
so-
long, and I did
yeah.
so many drugs since then. But
Basically, if I
remember.
recall the story correctly, you just kept sneaking into whatever class she was substitute for, claiming to be the kid that was absent.
yeah, I
that
would,
day.
well, first she was the substitute in my one class, and like I convinced her. The class was 1:30 to 2:15, and sometimes Mr. Zach would let us leave at 2:10.
Yeah.
I convinced her that Mr. Zach would let us leave at 1:45. So she let us leave for a 45-minute class. She let us leave a half hour early the entire 3 days that she was a substitute, and never remembered, like, took the time to write down my name. She just was like, told the teacher, and like Mr. Zach gave us a long speech, like, yeah, she said a student, told her that we're like, that's not
Nice young
acceptable.
man.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this lady doesn't know my name. Like, it's so funny. So like, I just would go up to her class, and then like, eventually I just became a dick. And like the one I got thrown out of her class, and I was claiming to be this other kid. And I was like, this class is fucking bullshit. Fuck you. I don't give a shit, and just slammed the door. And I know he got called down to the office the next day, and they were trying to suspend him. He's like, I wasn't even in school. I was such a...
I think what the situation was, if I recall, you went to the class and they had a test,
Yeah, I'm not taking this...
and you freaked out about it.
That was the thing. Like, I was just such a dick, like, in high school. I was such a piece of shit.
You made a kid cry.
Which one?
I don't know, the one that you locked out of Finn's class.
Oh, that was so worth it. That Mr. Finn, he gave me detention, and he he was like, you have detention an hour after school, so I came in at 2:15. He's like, first detention I gave out in 10 years. Was it worth it? I was like, well, Anthony cried, so yeah. He's like, did he cry? Go.
We were reminiscing.
Talk to you about that?
He claimed that didn't happen.
Are you kidding me? What's his side?
He's just like, I don't think that happened.
Oh, okay.
Like, you guys remember giving me a detention? Like, the whole thing didn't happen?
I think so.
I mean, I don't bring it up very frequently, but
But how do you not? If it's the first detention in 10 years, like, how do you
all I
not
remember was that his big thing was that he discovered, and this is one that you say isn't true, but he realized that if you were ever acting up, he could shut you up immediately by saying, God, you remind me so much of your brother, and you would get so angry that you would stop talking.
No, that's not true. You know nothing can keep me from talking.
I'm trying to think what else. We had some good reminiscing earlier this week. Like the time that your teacher had to call mom and force you to take a final.
Holy shit.
Because you were
Miss
purposely
Greto.
trying to fail the
Yeah,
class.
I had 3 years of Miss Greto. She was the shit. Like, she would be like, don't make me call Donna. Like, that's how close we were. She knew mom. She knew I called mom by her first name. And then I was like, fuck this. Like, I'm having you next year. She's like, no, you are not. And I was like, okay. So I, like, just wrote my name on the test. My test just said, Brian Kelly. I sat there for the hour and did all my thumbs, and then the first question I just wrote the answer was "see you next year," and gave it back to her. And she called my mom and she was like, "I love your son, but I'm not having him again." So
That's such a nice thing to put for a teacher. And
yeah, so
she's been joking about it. She's absolutely serious.
Yeah, Donna ripped the covers off. She was like, "Get your ass to school. You're a piece of shit. Get to school now. I can't believe you did that." So I like go to school and I'm like purposely answering all the questions wrong and like not trying. She just rips the paper out of my hand and gave me a C. And so like I passed without ever taking a real final. That's pretty cool.
Now, did you take her same class 3 years in a row, or did you just
No.
luck out and have her freshman, sophomore, and junior?
Freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and then I was like, I hope I have you next year. And she's like, I
Now,
don't
did
teach
your-
any senior classes?
Did your brain piece together the possibility that you would end up in a different junior
Wasn't gonna
junior
let it happen.
teacher's class?
I already had that planned out. Like I was going to, or she was the only. Like, I think I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like there's different teachers for freshman and sophomore, but she was the only one for like the level 3 class.
Okay.
So
Don't you think that if you failed, you might not be qualified as a level 3 anymore?
I mean, I passed. I don't know. Maybe tell that to my 71 that I had in level A and B.
That's proficient.
Yeah.
Or
Passing. It's passing. That's for damn sure. I'm very good at working. Well, like let's be honest. Like Pendelco.
Yeah.
Our superintendent got arrested for stealing money, and they found ecstasy on her when she was arrested. And our athletics director just got caught with child porn. So it's not like a hard school to beat the system. But you even saw me senior year with
Well,
Miss
you
Storm.
guys-
I found out this teacher was hot, and I managed to like switch my schedule around to not only get senior study hall, but to have her 3 or 4 out of the 6 classes. I think 3 classes out of 6.
dude, he had such a better relationship with teachers. I had the worst. I would never talk to him. I hated him.
Well,
I was always
I wasn't
bitter.
always that good. I got suspended like a lot freshman and sophomore year, and then I found out all you have to do is just make them laugh the first week and just like be
can't do
kind of
that.
good, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
I'd be in classes where they would know him before me, and like
Yeah.
you wouldn't even be in the class.
Yeah, I would like walk in to see me like Mr. Kelly.
Well, every single. Well, I don't want to. This feels like it's a brag, and it's not. But like every single sibling was at a disadvantage of going to any class after me if the teacher had me previously, because
they were like, oh,
I'm-
this kid's gonna be a piece of shit just like his brother.
no, you motherfucker. I'm chatty now, but in school I was like the quiet. I just don't want to say anything stupid and get picked on type person. So I would just sit in the back of the class. I wouldn't speak. I wouldn't act up. I would take the tests. I would do really well, and everyone else, but like you, Jamie, and Julie, are all chatterboxes.
I was the what like oh. I was
Yeah, that
awful.
one fucking teacher, I could kill her.
Miss Pot.
Yeah.
What a bitch. She threw a book at me. But who was it? You were in that math class. when I kept making all the racist jokes and I made the teacher cry and quit. The first year where we had her half the year and then we had Mr. Stroud the other half.
You've done it to a couple of teachers.
No, like she
fucked up my grade, man.
She broke down in tears and she's like, I can't believe what I'm hearing from you guys because I just kept saying all these really racist jokes. The next, she like made us sit silently that day, the rest of that day. The next day we came in, she put on Remember the Titans. And the day after that, we had a new teacher. She left the school district.
Oh no!
I gotta make amends to her.
Yeah.
I remember her last name. Yeah. Holy shit!
Do you have to make amends to someone if you weren't doing drugs at that time? You were just a piece of shit.
And I was doing drugs at that time. It was like 10th grade.
Oh, I thought this was like. Sorry, I thought you were because you're talking about Mrs. Pot. I thought you were talking about like in 4th grade.
No.
Oh, she can get over that. I thought it was like an elementary school teacher. It's just like, I can't believe that you kids have these terrible thoughts at this young age.
Yeah, we're like fucking 15, lady. Yeah. Listen, lady.
The one English teacher, their cousin was in Wayne's World.
Oh, Mr. Coffin.
Yeah, I was the police officer in Wayne's World.
Yeah, his uncle.
That blew my mind.
I didn't fuck with him, and I was pissed that everyone else did because I'm smart. That dude was an easy A. I went to it. I had a 45 in his class because I didn't do any assignment, any essay, and he was like, I would just go up to him at the end of every semester and be like, "Why do I have this grade?" He's like, "You didn't do." I'm like, "I turned those in." He's like, "Oh, well, since I lost them, I'll give you an A." Like, this dude was like such a doormat that when he quit and we had Miss Hogan, the class got really hard. Like, I could have went to Harvard.
Excuse me, I have a 45. Well, I thought it was
this kid's got a 95 in English all through high school.
Well, that's like
I'm sorry, Brian.
Well, that's like
give me an A he lost it.
We had it. I never had him, and it sucks. But my freshman year, there was an English teacher. I'm pretty sure he was an English teacher, but Schropp had him. And in the middle of the semester, he just quit because he joined the punk band 10-Foot Pole and had to go on tour.
Really?
It was like amazing. Like he grew up in California, and he was friends with the band, and he got a teaching job, and he moved here, and he was teaching at Sun Valley for a couple years, and then their drummer quit, and they called him like, "Hey man, you want to join the band and go on tour?" And he's like, "Yep, peace."
That's awesome.
And in their first album, like Schropp and Ant and Ed are like in the thank yous because they were like the only kids that listened to punk music at the time that knew who 10-Foot Pole was. So they would be like, "You're friends with 10-Foot Pole? That's crazy. We love that band."
That's pretty sweet.
Charlie, there was a few like weird ones. Well, you guys missed out on the Kurt Cobain janitor who got fired. He literally looked like Kurt Cobain, had like the Jesus beard and the long scraggly hair, and it was literally like if Jason Mewes was a janitor. Like, I never saw that motherfucker cleaning. I saw him playing hacky sack in the gym by himself quite a few times, and then, shocker, got fired when they caught him smoking dope in the back of the school.
That's awesome.
But I was like, of course he's a pothead. He's dressing like a pothead.
Yeah,
he's a janitor that looks like Jesus.
Yeah, don't play. I never looked like a drug addict. Jesus.
Everyone thought I was one of those people that people occasionally thought was a drug addict because I had long hair and wore like tie-dye shirts every once in a while.
Yeah, I thought you were a drug addict.
Yeah, I was always.
Yeah.
All through high school, I didn't do anything until.
People are constantly asking Eric for weed.
I'm sorry.
He's like, what? Fish what?
It was like a dandelion.
Like the roots of the grass.
Just different descriptions of what weeds are. Like the green things that sprout on the concrete sometimes.
I like that we keep making references that like only you and I care about. Like I heard at least 2 Kid Chris references so far. Now you're pulling out some John Mulaney shit.
You mean to tell me that this guy gets off with little girls and pigtails?
Yes,
that's the crime and sex division. You're gonna have to get used to this.
The FBI.
Oh shit.
Good shit. So I'm not gonna say. I actually can't say her name because she's one of us now. But I'll call her GWB, as far as Great White Buffalo. I talked about last podcast. I saw her this week.
Oh.
Turns out she's in recovery. She started drinking heavily. Got to make amends to her, which was pretty cool.
I thought she was like totally.
That's what I told her. I didn't mean to but I was like, that's crazy because I had you on a pedestal, like you were gonna save me, like you were this angel. No, she wasn't.
Oh, and you said she got married?
She was no angel. Huh?
She got married? Did you say?
No.
Oh,
she got sober.
Oh,
she got married to Jesus.
To the clean line.
But wait, so were you gonna say something else about a wedding?
Oh, a wedding. I went to a wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, do fillers.
I thought you said I went to her wedding, and I'm like, well, that was quick.
If I went to her wedding, it'd be straight graduate style.
Banging on a glass.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Great White Buffalo! Great White Buffalo! And the Asian family turns around that just happens to look exactly like the Asian version of her and her.
Yeah. Funny. Well, nowadays just be like a gay wedding. You know what I mean? To show appropriate. It's just like banging on the doors, just two long hair guys.
That's what they should do if they do Wayne's World 3. Yeah. That same scene.
The best thing about watching The Graduate for the first time years after watching Wayne's World 2 multiple times is that movie is fucking hilarious when it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm just watching, I'm like, oh my god, they did this perfectly in Wayne's World 2. Well, I'm glad that you survived that, because that's kind of a...
What, the wedding?
Going to see any Great White Buffalo.
Yeah, man, I mean, it was cool. Like, I
and the wedding.
Girlfriend.
If nobody knows that term, it's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I mean, she has a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend, so it was just very cordial, very friendly. I let her drive my car because she doesn't have her license.
You could trade.
You could?
You and her boyfriend.
Oh man, I wish I could see that, because that's probably one of my favorite things on Community with Pierce. She's like, "Wow, Pierce, I'm surprised you got through that conversation without making any gay references. You mean those guys were?"
One day I'll have to get Schropp on the show to tell, because I don't remember exactly what it is. If we go to the diner after this, remind me to ask Schropp how him and Eric Sipos used to think gay guys had sex. Because all I remember was that it somehow involved one penis getting really big and one getting really small and penetrating the pee hole. And this was like apparently 7th or 8th grade. Like, when you're old enough to have probably come up with a better idea for how it worked.
That's gotta be how
That's the only way it could possibly work. They have magic powers.
There's no other way.
Well, that was like their one get-rich-quick scheme that was called the Virginizer. And it was basically like a rubber that you put on your daughter's vagina so that no guy can penetrate it without your permission. What? And because the only way that you could do it was that you had to buy like a little razor to slice it back open.
That is retarded.
And he's like, and if some guy penetrated, like sliced it open and had sex, the father would know. He goes, but that's not where we make our money. We make our money in the re-virginizer, which is the thing that seals up that slit once you got it open.
And your friends never did drugs? Ever.
Never. Well, no, Schropp was a pothead for like a year and a half or something.
Really?
Yeah. He apparently, I'm not sure if he'll appreciate me saying this, but he doesn't listen to the show anyway.
No.
I believe when he was a stoner, got head from 2 chicks at the same time, and he doesn't remember anything about the situation except that it happened.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Oh, man.
I've
had a lot of cool things happen. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, your mind is...
You remember enough to fill 2 hours of podcast though last time, so that was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was. It's just a shame. Like I should have really practiced. I was just going to come here. I thought you were going to pave the way.
No. I think that this is fine. Now, here's my one question, I guess, for you, because you don't know this obviously, because I don't really tell you too many of the personal things that happen with the podcast. But I do get a lot of messages from struggling addicts.
Okay.
Or people who are in recovery and people who are doing better, who really love your episode. Both of them. They actually say it's one of the more genuine, real stories that they've ever heard. So my question for you right now, you're at a year and 3 months, roughly. I mean, does it get easier? Do you still ever feel the itch to use, or are you at a point right now where you're not just driven by your desire to stay sober, but just like it's not really there anymore?
Yeah, it gets easier. I mean, I don't have that obsession to drink. Like, am I gonna say like sometimes like I don't think about getting fucked up? Like, no. But like I don't have that. Like it's in my mind and out of my mind like just as quick. Like boom, boom.
And I can, weirdly enough, I can relate to that in a weird way. Because, like, I've never ever drank. Mm-hmm. And, like, every once in a while I'll be like, maybe I'll have a drink. Like just because, and I'm like, but why? Like I'm perfectly happy and having a good time right now. Like, there's no reason for me to feel like I want to have a drink.
Yeah, man. I think it gets a lot better. And I think a lot of things I can tell to people that are just coming around that wasn't really passed to me, but I just stuck around. I mean, I didn't have a choice, know. But some people realize, like, half the shit that you hear in rehab, and I work for rehab, so I hope my judge doesn't hear this, is bullshit.
Yeah.
And half the shit you'll even hear at a meeting is bullshit, to be honest.
Yeah.
You gotta understand, it's just like, I hear a lot of people that, talk about how awful AA is, because of, like, shit that happens, but, like, in all honesty, like, that's equivalent to saying, like, the Catholic Church is, like, a terrible place because all these priests are molesting little boys, when realistically, like, there's some.
Yeah.
It happens, but, like, that's just how it is. I mean, it's a fellowship. But, like, it gets better. You just got to dive in all the way. I wouldn't be sober today if I didn't reach my hand out and meet new people, because being by yourself fucking sucks. I wouldn't be sober today if I didn't help out other people that needed help as much as I could, and I wouldn't be sober if I didn't share my story. But, like, as far as, like, I don't go to a meeting every day. Play the tape forward. I played the tape forward 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just made a fart noise.
Apparently, when you jerk off, fart noises come out your dick. Brian Posehn would be so proud.
All right, let me get serious on this part. So, play the tape forward.
But the worst part is like you made a fart noise on the podcast, but for Biggest and I sitting here watching, you made a fart noise while doing a jerk off motion. Like, it's not even the appropriate sound for what you were miming.
Didn't lift a leg or anything. Oh, shit. But yeah, like, I don't know. There's just a lot of bullshit, man. But it's, like, that's really cool that I can help people out is, like, crazy. Like, that's what's crazy to me. And I don't mean, like, this and that. But, like, when I have, like, people call me, like, for advice, or, like, people like that actually, like, look up to me, I guess. Like, It's fucking crazy. Because, like, I am not a reliable person. I'm, like, an awful human being and, like, a piece of shit. And then, like, in 15 months to be someone that, like, people go to,
Now, what about, obviously we won't say her name,
mm-hmm.
but a friend of mine who kind of has been on a rocky road, to say the least. Like, I'm sure she's not the only person that's, hit you up to get help and then just kind of was like, peace, I don't need it. I mean, does that sometimes become a real struggle, or is it just kind of like you know what, it happens, you can't win them all type deal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here, like...
Because I think
I'm not here to get...
I remember when she wanted to go into rehab again, I was like, call Brian. She's like, no. Like, she was afraid to call you. And, like, I think that she doesn't understand the level of forgiveness that you and I both tend to have towards people, where it's like... I know for a fact Dad don't understand.
Yeah.
But we're willing to let someone backstab us 7 or 8 times if that 9th time we're able to help him.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
But no, it doesn't, because like how... Alright, this is a girl I don't really know.
Yeah.
I helped get her, help, and she like left.
Yeah.
Like, I still didn't drink it, regardless, like even if it was something where like I put my neck out for her in some way, like how many times did Mom stand by my side and like get me into IOP or get me on Suboxone or whatever, and like I turned my back? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it might sound like a dick, but like, to be honest, like I'm not here to like try to get anybody sober. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
You're just here to be. Hey, if you got questions, I can give you answers.
Absolutely.
But that's it. Yeah.
Like we have a family, we have family members that are, currently, like, I'm not going to ever lecture them. Like, if they come up to me, like, absolutely, I will be there 100%. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm worried about, like, getting myself help. And I'm not going to chase anyone around to try to get them sober. And, there's been a lot of people, my good friend Jordan, his sponsee, that, like, I've reached my hand out. He went and got high, and, like, it was, like, 5 times. And just every time that he asked for my help, I was just there.
Yeah.
I wanted to help him less and less, but I still helped him. And then finally, I think he's got, like, 4 months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'm always impressed with how different our family is. And not, like, our family, but, like, the whole, like, doing the family reunion thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people that are doing so much better now than if we were to, like, jump back to 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome. And it, like, there's that, like you said, like, you can't lecture them, you can't do anything like that, but there's that group of, like, 4 or 5 that you still kind of find yourself worrying about a little bit and going, like, they need to stop. Like, they need but you think that, like, I feel like as the weddings and the parties and all this stuff keeps happening, and there's no, like, I think one of the wake-up calls for you, and this is just me guessing, but I think one of the wake-up calls for you was after a couple family parties where you started to realize that no one else is getting as drunk as me at these parties.
I was getting very,
like,
very drunk. I was getting sloppy with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing coke in front of Eric at one party. What party was that? You remember we went to smoke a blunt with those guys, and they brought out the coke? I was like, give me some of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say your sponsor was, because I don't remember.
And then, like, I did pills in front of Scott and Matt. Like, I was just getting very sloppy to the point where, like, I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, I was just trucking through. But, like, it's cool, man. It's cool. Like, I mean, look at Ryan. Like, Ryan was always my cousin. Like, I always had love for Ryan. But, like, even if we were both using drugs, I don't think we would have hung out like we did at that wedding. Like,
yeah,
we were like sidekicks. And me and Ryan are 2 completely different people. Completely different. But, like, we had a fucking blast. And it was all... Like, I love being around drunk people. And I just...
It's a very weird... Here's the thing. I do to a point. As the person who's usually at a party from the beginning till the very end to make sure that shit don't get broken, drunk people circa 3 o'clock when all they want to do is drive home and you have to fight them to not leave the house with their keys because they're going to murder someone... That's not the fun part of drunk people. But the middle part where they're just total idiots and they don't realize that they're total idiots, great.
Like,
there's a girl that...
Steph the entire wedding. It was hilarious.
There's a girl that I don't think she comes to Mark and Laura parties anymore, but for a long time she was only known to us as Faceplant Girl. I just knew what her name was, learned her name like a month ago. Because the first party she ever went to, she got so drunk... And it was still, like, broad daylight. Like, the barbecue started at noon, and this was, like, 5 o'clock. She was already pissed drunk. Was just sitting on a chair on the deck and just very slowly kept leaning forward on the chair until she just smashed her face on the deck and just started bleeding.
That's hilarious to me. That's comic gold. I'm going to leave this up to you two for 3 minutes.
You got to pee.
I got to pee really bad.
Okay. Well, that was Brian.
Well, I was going to say, the only thing that I don't like about people that drink a lot, which is me, myself, I draw from my own experience. It's cool because, it's not cool, but your awareness expands. But then
it just dissipates.
You're too drunk to do anything about it. You'll be like, listen, I know I'm talking too much. I'm just glad that you... No, it's cool, man. It's cool. No, I know it's cool, but I just gotta say, man, no, please.
I got caught in the middle of a... I almost don't want to tell the story without Brian here. But Brian came to one of Mark and Laura's parties one time, and I remember very distinctly being caught in the middle of 2 drunk people having one of those conversations.
And they don't notice that they're separate.
Where both of them are, like, trying to end the story, or like trying to end the conversation
Being too polite.
by complimenting each other to the point that they've been complimenting each other for like 10 minutes. Is that him? Brian, are you back?
No.
Oh, that's Jeff. Oh, Jeff's here.
Did you change, add, or do anything to that script? Because it appears to be the same exact one that we added 2 months ago.
Did it stop on page 10 or page 18?
Page 10.
Oh, well then let me see.
Page 18, there's 8 pages. What'd you do?
Save. I'm going to resend this script to Jeffrey. Let's see if it worked that time. This is exciting for the podcast. But there's Brian. So, Brian, we were talking about how drunk people have this amazing tendency to get so drunk that they... How did you explain it? Like,
Their awareness expands, but they're too drunk to do anything about it.
and I was thinking about...
They know that they're bothering you, and they're talking too much, and they'll keep commenting on it.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
it's
got
okay.
some.
Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
But I was saying that I remember...
Sorry, man. I'm really, really sorry. I'm such an asshole. Yeah, I know.
But I mean, it's...
I was going to say, I remember very distinctly a Mark and Laura party where you and Roger basically had that conversation for 3.5 hours, where it was just like the end of the conversation, but all that was happening was just the two of you trying to get the last compliment in before the end of the
Who
conversation.
was Roger?
I'd have to show you a picture, but he was just a friend of Laura's.
And we got wasted together?
Yeah, pretty much. That was the night that you pranked a prank caller.
That was awesome. I did prank a prank. I didn't prank a prank caller per se, but I got a prank caller to hang up on me.
Ooh, there you go. See, that's how you get them. You're supposed to stay on as long as possible. Lots of people just say shit and then hang up.
Yeah.
You gotta stay on as long as...
Like, oh, this
long
guy's
as it
prank
takes.
calling me. I'm going to show them. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. If I find out where you live, I am going to... Like, that's the whole reason people prank call, is to get that threat.
Yeah, that's a victory.
Sometimes I get friend ads on Facebook, and I have no clue how they know anything about me. I know what it is now because I accepted the friend ad. I don't know what you're watching.
Checking my
It's
snap.
YouTube.
There's this girl that Julie's friends with that I want to have sex with.
All right.
There's a few girls that Julie's friends with that I want to have sex with.
I guarantee
Friends.
I've accepted this kid's friend request. I'm going to shut down Facebook now.
Okay.
But I guarantee that when I check back on Facebook, he will be asking me if I have any shows that I could book his band on.
Yeah.
Because it's a random kid messaging me from Iowa,
What's he do? What's he
and
play?
his only Facebook friends are people like Steve York and a bunch of other people from bands in this area.
Would he do a benefit show?
No, I'm not doing shows in the summer right now, but
Would he do? Because...
I don't know. Yeah, probably not.
Why would
All I know is that I accepted him as a friend. I accepted him as a friend, and then the first status I saw was like, yo, if anybody knows places for my band to play, and I'm like, I can see where this is going already.
Yeah.
I already foresee this. We'll talk about it afterwards. If you need some bands, I can help you out on that.
That's awesome. I wish you would have did it while I was home, but that's still awesome.
All right, well, we can wrap this up now, I guess. We've been
that's
talking
all.
for a little over an hour.
I hope we don't use the whole thing we talked about. There's a lot of dead parts.
No, I mean, I'll do some editing, but us talking about the things that we need to do is gonna make the editing even more of a pain. So let's not talk about it till after I stop recording from here on out.
All right.
Nope, keep it, all of it.
So Biggest, what are you up to? Is there anything that people listening should know about what's going on in the world of Biggest?
Nah, screw me, yeah. This world's too big. Our lives are
You're
so
Team
small.
Goldie in it up again, right?
Yeah, we're still practicing.
Yeah, I heard you finally got back to practice. There was like a 6-month hiatus, though,
Yeah, well, our drummer was getting married. And,
at forming a new band.
forming a new band. No, we're still practicing, though. Screw me, dude. There's Russia and China are teaming up on a gas, and America's going
I feel like you've been hanging out with Hickey a lot lately.
Oh, yeah. It's all going under.
All right, so Brian,
Screw our lives.
how about you? What people who are a fan of you that want to reach out to you, what are the best places for them to reach out?
They can, get in contact with me. Actually right now, I'm meeting up with Justin Timberlake. I'm working on this social media website It's kind of like MySpace,
Mm-hmm.
but it's for college kids right now, like Ivy League schools. But we're gonna link them all together
Sounds cool.
eventually. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're getting cut in the future.
I can't.
You play that guy.
Damn it.
He's got a big head. You have a big head.
Which guy?
The guy
You just recasted Social Network in the middle of the podcast.
No, I mean they can. I don't give a shit. Like you can get a hold of me on Facebook. You know, like, and
Are you still at your first step, or have you moved up in the world to your third or fourth step?
I'm working at a treatment center, but like, I mean, if you need help, I can help you find treatment. But like, realistically, that's not what I like to do. It's my job. What I really like to do is like, you know, just if you're looking for any advice, you know what I mean, like just. Or if you need help, I mean, I can help you find help too, but, you know, it's not a matter of like, oh, I don't need rehab. So, like, if you're in early recovery or you want to know what the hell I do on a Friday night, then I can tell you, you know, like, this is what I do. I masturbate several times.
Piss off bitches on Facebook like crazy.
That was a funny post.
That was a great post.
It was a great post. But no, we have fun, man, and, like, anything you want to do, like, I'm trying to tour the world this year, in all seriousness, tour the country, just to have fun. So maybe I'll pop up in someone's states, because I'm planning on moving back to Delaware County next year. And as much as I love this place, my friends are not as out random as the people down there. So like the people down there, I could be like, you want to go to Iowa? And no one's gonna be like, why are we going to Iowa? They'll be like, okay, here's MapQuest.
That's why you should. Our buddy Jeff's buddy Adrian, I think he still works for the airline. He used to work for the airline, and his thing that he would do on his day off was, it started off, he picked a random city, which is like, I'm going to go to this city, and he just flew to that city and walked around for the day and flew back home. And his goal was he had to meet someone from a totally different city that was also in that city, and that was the next city he would go to on his day off. And he's been doing that for years, just like letting the fates decide what city he goes to on his day off.
That dude's a fucking legend. That's what I want to do.
But it's all because he works at the airport, so he gets all the free flights that he wants.
I mean, I love She's Out of Your League. Like, that looks like an airport would be like a fun job. But then sometimes I look at it, I'm like, that's not a fun job.
It's probably not a very fun job.
I just need to check inside your asshole. Okay, I mean, no. We're gonna edit that out.
Again, Orange is the New Black. They actually reveal one of the inmates used to be a TSA agent, and they make it look like the most fun ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, they make jail look like the most fun
That's
ever.
true. I watch Orange is the New Black. I'm like, I don't see what the big problem is.
I love jail. We were watching one of those.
Who's in the real prison? Am I right?
Yeah. It was like one of those lockdown shows where like it was one of the few episodes where the dude was talking about rape. It was funny as shit. Like it really was, because he was like, yeah, you know, like I like to look in their face so they remember me, but I don't like sentimental. Like I just raped them for a couple weeks, and then I point to that guy, and I'm gonna rape him next, and then my bitch gets him and beats him up for me, and it's just funny because there's like, you see like Terry Crews looking dude like, yeah, man, you raped me back in '97. Dude was just raping everybody out there, everyone.
You gotta survive.
You better hide your kids. Kids can't come to jail. So
you should be
reference.
good. You should be good.
That was a shitty reference. We're gonna edit that out.
No, we're not gonna edit anything. But thank you for joining me again, Brian. Can't wait until the next time you're up here. Are you coming up for the family reunion?
Probably not.
Okay.
I was planning on it, but I'd rather be home for Aunt Lisa's anniversary.
Okay, so you're coming up in September. All right, we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we get you back. Of course, when you move back for good, there's definitely going to be a celebration episode, but that's probably about another 10 to 11 months away.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a lot of like now I feel like, I got to be on this podcast like once a year, so I'm going to start doing very, very crazy shit.
And just keep notes.
Purposes.
Just keeping notes.
Did you just rape my daughter? It's for story purposes.
Just show up.
It was a goof.
It was a goof. You show up to record the podcast, and you just got a binder filled with story ideas.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, well, here's what we're going to discuss this time.
Yeah.
Flip. Not a fan of this one. I'm going to skip it. Please edit it out.